What up, YouTube? Welcome back to our regularly scheduled Tuesday video. My normal upload time for those of you who've been here. For those of you who are new, hi, how are you? Welcome to me rambling in a car with my car freshener hanging in front of my face. Hope everyone is well. With that, let's get into the topic of today's video. Yes, I wrote notes. But yes, I'm driving, so I might or might not go off those notes. Today, I want to talk about the toxicity of Eugenia Cooney. I'm sorry to those who think that I've beat this topic to death. However, this topic is of great, concern for me at this time. First off, I just want to give a little bit of background about Eugenia. I am not an expert on Eugenia or her life or the type of content that she's been posting, but these are things that I can gather based on what I've seen. Eugenia is, I remember actually she posted some stuff to back when the app was Musical.ly, she posted some stuff and, like Gabby featured a little bit of it in her videos, and she did a makeup tutorial from Eugenia one time, but that was about 4 years ago. I remember the Shane Dawson docu-series talking about Eugenia. Oh, should probably put a couple of trigger warnings in this video. My first trigger warning is going to be obviously for the eating disorder type content. We know Eugenia is very sick, so if you're at all triggered by any mention of eating disorders, this is not the video for you. I would ask that you kindly click away. And another trigger warning I want to include is possible like triggering stuff with mentionings of the word death and dying. I know that can be very triggering for some people. So eating disorder, trigger warning, death, dying, trigger warning. Now that those are out of the way, let's talk about Eugenia now. So Eugenia posts a lot of videos related to gaming type content. From what I understand, she's on Twitch very regularly. I don't watch Twitch, so I don't know, but apparently she's posted some questionable stuff on Twitch in the past. But she appears to do mostly these three topics from what I can gather: gaming, clothing, and makeup. Now, these seem pretty not problematic on the surface to anybody who doesn't follow Eugenia, but to anybody who's followed her journey, even since the Shane docu-series video where she appeared to be getting better. This is problematic in kind of two ways. A, you can progressively see throughout the course of time since the Shane docu-series that Eugenia has quite obviously relapsed, and B, she appears to be possibly ignoring the fact that she's relapsing. She might be in just complete denial, but she's still posting content that shows her body, and you'd have to be blind to see that. You'd have to be blind to not see that she is having a problem. So, let's talk about Eugenia's influence. Eugenia dresses primarily in clothing that would, I say, possibly would skew towards a younger generation, possibly teens and impressionable young adults. And I can see where this is a problem, and many influencers and community members have spoken out about this, to where the constant clothing hauls and body checks and things in this type of clothing is very dangerous to that younger audience. So the young impressionable viewer might see that as beauty and might try to emulate that, or might think that they're fat and try to lose weight so that they can look like that. And it's all just very dangerous territory, because I'm not I'm not an expert. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I'm not going to sit here and, lie about being an expert. However, you would have to be literally blind to not see that Eugenia is skeletal. She's sick. She's relapsed. And that's not something that is a safe thing to be putting out there to a young, impressionable audience that might be looking at her as a standard of beauty, because it's not safe. How do we help? It's really difficult to say that we have any sort of influence over this girl's life. She would have to be in complete denial with the amount of just Twitter comments that I'm seeing. She's either just not reading them, or she's reading them and she's completely ignoring them, or she's reading them as hate. There are comments flooding her pictures on Twitter and Instagram daily, basically saying, if you don't get help, you're gonna die. Now, I don't know how to help Eugenia. I don't know how to get her to get the help that she needs, because on one hand, if I go on there and tell her she's beautiful and the clothing is nice and the makeup is really nice, she's gonna think she's fine, and she's not fine. On the other hand, if I go on there and I'm like, you're dying, you're sick, you're not well, it's going to be really sad to see you die, you need to go to rehab. This could all be very triggering to her, but this is also something that she appears to be taking as hate. Now, I want to be very clear. I think having genuine concern for someone's health when they're obviously not well, I don't think that's hate. I don't think that's hate until it becomes hate. And it's not hateful if you get online, you're not sure what to say to this person, but you're like, yo, get help, go to rehab. That's not hate. I don't think that's coming from a bad place. What's coming from a bad place is, oh, you're so ugly, go kill yourself. That's coming from a bad place. That's hate. The conversation is different from when it was the first time around when all of this was going on, but it doesn't make it any less triggering. So we just have to be mindful of that. Like I said, I don't know if there's anything that we can do. She's living with her mother, who has arguably enabled this in her, and she's an adult, but she's not, because she doesn't have her own house, her mom's still there. It's all a very confusing and very controlling situation from the outside perspective. Why isn't she seeking help? There's two reasons I think she's not seeking help. A is that she cares too much about maintaining an image to go offline again, which just shows that she truly doesn't care about her own health. There's another possibility that she's not seeking help because she's being told not to seek help by the people who are controlling her life. Look at Free Britney. Britney doesn't control a lot of her own life, and she's fighting to get that control back. Eugenia arguably isn't well enough to be in control of a lot of her own life, and that allows for different influences, including, probably her mother. I'm not sure, I'm not in her house, to be controlling of her life and whether or not she gets treatment. Is she addicted to the positive feedback from her body checking? I think she could be, because of all of the negativity she has received in the past, and I think that's blurring a line between that and the negativity she's receiving now. So when she gets a good comment or a compliment, it's like an adrenaline rush, a high, and she thinks that she's doing all right. So she's seeking out only the positive stuff, but there are so many influencers out there that can't take criticism. The important thing to distinguish here is that this isn't criticism. This is concern. Are the positive comments on her appearance enabling her destructive behavior? They might not be meant to, but they probably are. This is a very difficult subject and a very difficult time for Eugenia that should only be handled by mental health professionals and by a rehab facility. We don't know what her home life is like. We don't know how controlled what she does is by other people, or, you know, if she's even mentally well enough to be making those types of decisions, and what the influences of the people around her are like. And the last thing I have written is, will she die without help? I'm not an expert, I'm not, you know, a doctor, but she looks very, very sick. And when you're in that type of disorder, when you have an eating disorder that severe, you guys know that, like, if you've done any amount of research, when somebody loses that much weight and they're functioning on that little amount of literal tissue, your organs start to shut down because your body can't function. And I do think that that's a possibility. And I just want to preface this. I don't want Eugenia to die. I wanted everything that Shane did in his docuseries to stick, and I wanted it to help her. But the thing we have to remember is that recovery in that case is not linear. She's gonna have ups and downs and different things that set her back, and I just, at this point, I honestly question if she has enough mental willpower and self-awareness to go for healing on her own. And it is really difficult to watch. I keep hoping I'm going to see her get better on social media. I haven't unfollowed. I probably should unfollow, because at this point it feels a little irresponsible to have the triggering content in my feed. But let me know in the comments below what you think of just Eugenia or other YouTubers in general that you've seen kind of in a decline, like in a bad space. I'm interested to have a conversation. And with that, I also would like to apologize for last Friday's video. And yeah, sorry for that. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys Thursday. Have a good day. Bye.